me get a check. Mic check.
Check. Mic check.
All right, phone sound off.
Ish.
We in the building.
Ish, can I get a
Check,
mic
check, 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 check.
Okay.
This is fun.
Naeem, welcome back today.
We are recording and we are right back
Yellow 2.
with episode 2 of the Real Wave Podcast. I'm your host with the gang in the building. What's the name of the gang again? Tell me the name.
Rocky Media Studios.
Rocky Media Studios. So we can't forget this. So I'm your host, Naeem Turner, the Real Wave Podcast, episode 2. Shout outs to Rocky Media Studios. That's the team. So it's not going to be no more further moving. We're not going to move further along without shouting out the team because without them, there is no me. So let's make some noise for the team. Let's make some noise for the team.
Start that off.
Yeah, this is episode 2, guys. Got a lot of great reviews from the first episode, but here we are. We're going to keep things moving. We're going to keep on the road like a hoagie. I'm excited, but at the same time, I got a lot of feedback. I got a lot of people on social media that was giving me their feedback, telling me about things I should talk about and asking me questions about certain things that I did talk about. So we could get into that, but how y'all feel? How's everybody? Everybody
Good.
We
Good. High
Smooth?
energy. It's the fourth. Feel good.
Okay, cool.
So you looking for some topics right now?
No,
How was your week? Let's go from there. Last time we talked to you, how was everything? How's everything been with you?
Things have been good, man. I think for me, for the most part, I'm in a space of, I'm taking care of my mom right now. Like I said, just want to start to show off with some gratitude. I'm super grateful for my mom's health right now. She had a stroke about 3 weeks ago, and that was hard for me. Me and my mom haven't had the best relationship. I talked a lot about my mom, and it felt kind of weird being in that space because I'm taking care of her like I took care of my grandma in 2013, 2014 before she passed. And watching my mom's health wither away just be emotionally wrecking me at night. I'm near having fun with her. I'm near, recording her, feeding her, just trying to get as many memories I can with her right now. But when I leave there, I'm a wreck. You know what I mean? So when you ask me about LA, when you ask me about how was my time, BET Award weekend, I really couldn't enjoy it as fully as I wanted to because I was like, yo, what if this is my last time seeing my mom? You know what I mean? So it was like, as much as I tried to enjoy it, I couldn't. So I cut my trip short and I came back. So just in a real space of gratitude because my mom still has her health. She still talks the same, curse the same. You know what I mean? Like she's different. You could tell she's different, but it's still the same her. And just trying to hold on and create whatever memories we can because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, we know you have a biological mom.
Yeah.
And then you have your mom.
My mom. So whenever I refer to my mom, I'm talking about Valerie Turner. That's my mother. Even though I got a biological mom, I never referred to my biological mom as mom. I never called her mom. That's Angel, right? So, I always called her Angel, and even though my brothers and sisters address her as mom, I just always addressed her as Angel because I felt like she never earned that title. Even though I know who she is and I acknowledge who she is, I just felt like she never earned that title. Even with my biological pop, I never called him Dad. I called him Pop when we worked at the funeral home together. It was like, yo, Pop, for the sake of conversation and people asking questions, but he know, you're not Dad. You know what I'm saying? Dad is Bay, the man that's been in my life. Shout out to my dad too, because it's been a lot on my pop, because as much as I've been through with my parents, my mother and father are still together after 46, 47 years. And, watching this process, what it did to my father, honestly, this is one of the reasons why a few years ago I turned to Islam, because I was like, I saw my dad started giving salams again and making salat, and I was hearing that he was going to the masjid. Now, my father was never practicing Islam my whole life. His name was Bayat. My whole family Muslim, but he never was practicing my whole life. My grandma, his mother, was the one that planted the seed with church and stuff like that. So when I seen and I heard my dad was praying and getting back in the mix of things, because my mom has always been that strong individual leading the way. She's always been the one taking care of things. My pop used to go to work, come home, put his check on the dresser for my mom. You know what I mean? Just just old school workaholic, didn't go out with his friends, didn't do any of that. So, and he prided himself in that, you know what I mean? But watching my father be by my mom's side, I watch it take a toll on him. Like, yo, Pop, listen, you gotta make sure you eat. You gotta make sure you take care of yourself. You shouldn't have to do this by yourself. And he sometimes don't know how to navigate because he's so used to my mom taking care of these responsibilities. You know, so he's old school. He's writing nurses' numbers and names down, and instead of calling and faxing, he's going there personally and doing, you know what I mean? So I'm like, Pop, you just need some help. And I'm watching it take a toll on him. But now it's more involved because my mom is real standoffish. So what happened was I would hear about things about my mother from my daughter and different family members. But then all of a sudden, different family members started calling me and saying, listen, we can't get in touch with your mom. We can't get in touch with your dad. This is not like them not to communicate with us. And I'm used to it. I'm used to the distance and the disconnect for months. So I'm like, yeah, really? They're not talking to y'all? So that kind of raised the eyebrow. So my cousin hit me not too long ago, was like, oh, cuz, your mom needs you. We just got to just let things pass. And I'm like, it's nothing really, there's no real beef. It's just my mother and father, like my dad lied to somebody not too long ago. He lied to a family member of ours and told him that, just to protect my mom, told him that, oh yeah, Val is cool. She not here. He came over to fix something at the house and he said, where's Val at? He said, oh, Val left. Oh, really? Yeah, she left. She went somewhere. She driving? Oh, that's good. So in his head, she thinking yeah. I'm like, Pop, why would you lie? Yeah. Mom can't even raise up. She can't even sit up. Right? And that's another thing. So it was like my Pop didn't know how to fully operate. I'm like, Pop, you're trying to protect Mom and keep people away and be private, but this is the time to allow people in the space because she needs nourishment. She needs love.
But your mom, she's a strong person.
Bro.
We would think she's weak.
Right, but that's my mom. So he's carrying on that energy of my mom. Like my mom is real distant. My mom is the one but Pop, right now, I know you're doing what Mom normally does, but she needs Aunt Ida. She needs Riri. She needs cousin whoever. She needs the family around right now, because it's like, one, tomorrow's not promised. Two, they're actually worried. They're calling my phone. They're crying. So what happened was my cousin called me. John. Shout out to John. South Philly G. Old school. But he called me like, yo, cuz, man, it's enough. Like, enough is enough. Like, Val needs you. You and Bae just got to put past whatever y'all got going on. And you motivate the city. You help everybody. Like, you the one that can help your mom. We need you helping your mom right now. And I'm like, damn, I kind of been sitting in the tuck waiting for this moment to help my mom. You know what I mean? Because I was hearing, I'm watching her and I'm listening to her and I'm kind of like on the outside trying to do as much as I can. But like I said, me and my parents' relationships always been dysfunctional for years, where my mama just distanced herself for no reason. And my dad will pick that energy up, right? But neither here or there, I seen my Pop, me and him was cool. And the crazy thing, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. My Pop was such in a space of not knowing how to handle this. He picked up on some old energy of things that me and my mom would go through and things that my mom would say. So I went to the hospital. I'm talking to the nurses. I'm finding out different things. And my dad says to me, man, don't be talking to my wife. That's not your real mom. So, yeah, listen, I'm just telling you, just like you asked me how my week was, right? Yeah. So, I do a lot of stuff. I got the Midnight Run coming up. I got a lot of stuff happening, right? Ready to Love about to come back out. Everything's happening. I'm grateful in a great space. But when my Pop said that, I'm like, Pop, listen, I understand where this is coming from. Yeah. I understand that you're in a space where you don't know how to handle this. But don't ever fucking say that to me again. And my mom heard that. And I'm like, yo, Mom, to keep me from doing something and go, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to just leave, but I'll be back. And my mom like, no, don't go. And I left. And I left and I cried then, like, what the? And my cousin called me again. Like, no, man. Like, no, like, listen, we got to do what's best for Val. F that. I'm like, bro, I just told you I went in there with my Pop, what type of time he on. And no bullshit. A couple minutes later, my Pop called me and was like, Naeem, I'm sorry. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. You right. I never mean that. You know I love you, and do you forgive me? And you might be the one to take care of me one day. I'm like, Pop, I am gonna be the one to take care of you one day. You tripping? I understand, but
It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of emotions in one.
But it's been an emotional roller coaster since day one with me in that house. You know what I mean? So it's been a lot. So these things that I'm used to that you might be like, what? Why would he say that to me? I'm like, shh. I said it to my cousin at the masjid last week, and he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, but I understood. I didn't flip. It bothered me, but I didn't flip. I didn't react. And that's where personal development comes in. Because some shit is always going to happen, bro. Absolutely. Things are always going to happen. I think life is determined on how we handle it, how we show up. You know, I could pick a million topics. I could pick a million stories, but if you just asked me how my week was. So it was like once my dad apologized, we got through that. I seen him, we hugged. And the bigger picture is my mother right now. So me and him are in the hospital. You know, she went from the ER, to the hospital, you know, different departments in the hospital to finding a good rehab. Now, bro, when I tell you finding a good rehab is like a whole different ball game. Like, first of all, these hospitals and these spots ain't what they used to be when we thought they was growing up watching TV and stuff like that. Yeah. Finding good help is hard to find. Now, I took care of an old Jewish man for like a year, a couple of years, like years ago. I forget what year it was. I just came home. I couldn't find work. My baby mom, her mom did that type of work, like CNA work. She's from Trinidad. She did a lot of that CNA work over there. She was heavy in that field. She plugged me in with taking care of a man, an old Jewish man, and I guess told them I had experience, but anyway, I didn't have no experience. I'm coming to these people's house, and I'm taking care of this woman's father. Now, he's bedridden. He's on the bed. He gets medicine, and he gets changed, and so I'm doing this. I never did this before. So I ended up taking care of him so much that he started coming back to life, where I'm giving him medicine. I'm giving him, like, listening to his Jewish music. He started sitting up. I started, you know, bringing him out, taking him outside, taking him for walks. And then one day he passed. Like a year later, he passed. Now, they was paying me good money. They was paying me like $800 under the table a week. And I still was in the streets. Damn. Right? And that's a whole different ball game. I was going to New York every Thursday, grabbing sour, coming back on trains, planes, autumn, just to get back. It was a whole different ball game back then. That's a whole nother story. But I'm taking care of him. His name was Zaidi. And they were old school Jews. Like, the mom was a teacher and the dad was like a principal. They were heavy in the Orthodox. They were old school Jews. They was Orthodox. They didn't watch TV. They didn't have appliances in their house. When it turned like 7 o'clock, the lights would go off and they would pray. I would ask the daughter, like, yo, do you go to the movie? She'd be like, no, it's not educational. We don't really do that. And they would, like, align their marriages. Like, she was about to meet somebody. You know what I mean? I was like, it's different culture. But Naeem, or Nam in Hebrew, means friend. So they really took me on, and they watched me bring back their grandfather, their father, their whoever. And when he passed, you know, up in Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, it's like in New York, it's a heavy Jewish community. So they went up there and buried him. And I went up there, I was invited. And they don't really invite outsiders that's not Jewish, especially black folks. I went up there, and he introduced me to everybody. And was like, this is Naeem, this is one who took care of that. So everybody started trying to recruit me afterwards. Can you take care of my aunt, my uncle? And I was like, because they're going to pay you.
Did you have to dress the part?
No, I was Chill Smith. I was chilling. I would
wear
wear scrubs.
Jeans?
No, I wear scrubs.
Okay.
Yeah, because you changing.
I'm talking about when you went to New York. Like,
no, I know how to dress. Yeah, I know how to dress. So I went up there. I was smooth. You know, I'm fitting in. But I'm saying that to say, right, years later, I got the opportunity to take care of my grandmom the same way when she was in hospice. And I didn't, you know, at that time, changing an old white man and doing that was just different for me. Washing, you know, taking him, putting him in the shower, sitting him there, it was different. You wearing gloves and all that, but you realize that you get to a space in life, and then he would have pictures of his wife, family. I would show him pictures of his wife, and he would cry. Even though he didn't say much, he would see pictures of his wife and cry. Yeah. So I'm telling you this because it's in correlation to my mother and my father, but when my grandmother got sick and I went to her house and I moved back, and she was in hospice. She was in bed rest. So she was so light, I would pick my grandmother up, take her up the steps, put her in the tub, wash her the same way. Right? And I remember it was a story when I finally stopped trying to, you know, reach. I was trying to get back with my baby mom, and I remember my grandma was dying. And I remember one time it was Valentine's Day, and it was like the first time in a long time I was on deck to buy like gifts, like real gifts and do real shit. Mm-hmm. And I remember I had just left fit camp. I got to the house and my grandma's pot was filled up to the top. Poop and pee, right?
Wow.
You know, like right there. So I'm like, damn, ain't nobody been here all day. So let me get it. My baby mom calling me, rushing me. Like, yo,
where you at?
It's Valentine's Day. Everybody on Instagram doing Valentine's Day stuff while we not doing it. I'm like, I got you. Give me 2 seconds. Not, you need help. Not, I know what you're doing. Where we, I'm like, all right, bet.
Did she know what you were doing, though?
Yeah, everybody knew my grandma was dying. I would leave fit camp. It'd be 100 people at fit camp. They got careers. I'd be like, I'm helping all of them get the results. I'm helping them, and I'm going back home crying because I can't help her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I remember rushing up the steps. My grandma old school. She got like an old school crib where it's dark. Yeah. Open the blinds. Like you open the blinds. You like, damn, this how the house look? Mm-hmm. So I remember getting the pot up the steps, and I remember tripping. And I dropped poop and all of that stuff everywhere. Oh, and she had green carpet, and you really couldn't see it. And I remember just crying. Like I remember crying so bad because I was like, oh my God. I was like, why right now?
Breaking point right
there. That's the straw.
So listen, so I'm getting everything up. I'm like, I can't just leave this because it's going to be a mess later. I got to get this up. So I get it up, do everything I can. I'm extra late. I'm on my way up there. And she like, don't worry about it. Don't slide. It's cool. Just stay where you at. And I'm like, what? No.
I'm 15 minutes away.
I'm like, no, we can't. Bro, I was so hurt, so devastated. I remember calling my man. Like I was so hurt. I was like, I screamed at him like, yo, I'm never doing this shit. I was screaming. I ain't sound like this. Yeah. I probably screamed like I probably never did before. And this to my man. He probably vouched for it. He'll come up here one of these days. But I remember like, yo, I ain't never doing this again, right? But I remember like we had like a Pollyanna or a gift exchange in my community, and I had all these gifts. And I remember just giving those gifts away, and girls was like, damn, Chanel? You know what I mean? Like, right? Like, and it was like, damn, you really bought some nice gifts this year. Little did they know I had them Jones already from that. But anyway, taking care of grandma. Grandma was, grandma ended up passing. You know, when I found out grandma was passing, I was like in Hugo Boss buying a suit. You ever bought a suit from Hugo Boss?
I've never bought
It's real expensive, right? But you get tailor-made suits. And I was in a different bracket where I was like, bet I can afford a tailor-made suit. I'm going to get a joint. You know what it was? I was flying to Chicago. I had to speak in front of like 18,000 people. That's a whole different story, right? But I was like, I'm going to get a suit for this. Like, I'm past H&M, past Zara. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I need this. I'm on stage. I need good presence. And I remember getting a phone call that my grandma passed while I was in there getting a suit. And I remember leaving. It was pouring down raining. And I remember going back to her crib, and all the family was there. They put her wig on, put her wedding ring on, because she ain't never wear it. And just sitting there. And it did something to me. But I was just grateful to be a part of that every step. Even having my kids around every step, I didn't feel like empty.
Is that what you meant when you said you can't wait to take care of your mom?
Well, when I was saying, so in the process of, all right, mom, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm finding out you good, but I'm finding out third party, fourth party, what's going on with you. I can't wait to step in because I got all this time and flexibility. You know, I get a check from the company I deal with every month. I get a check from them every month by the grace of God. And I have other opportunities, but I have so much time and flexibility that I'm qualified to help my mom. So I'm like, I'm on the sideline, like, put me in the game, coach, talking to God. But I'm like waiting for the moment. I'm not trying to intrude because it's turmoil in my family. It'd be like hit or miss. You'd be like, what? Like if I told you half this shit, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Sometimes it's just cool to deal with y'all in the distance because this ain't worth my peace, and I got to still be a dad over here. You know what I mean? So, but I couldn't wait to step in with my mom, you know what I mean? But me and my dad getting past certain things, and and the crazy part was, my whole life growing up, when my mom and dad was beefing, me and my dad be smooth. When they was on good terms, it's like, you know what I mean? I used to hate that. I used to build resentment over that because I used to watch my mom do the same thing with me with my pop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, kick me out, kick him out. Like, it was just a repeated pattern, you know what I mean? So he wouldn't really side with me when it came to her the way I would side with him when it came to, you know what I mean? But stepping in for my mom, being there for my mom is just a blessing because even going into, like, I'm saying that to say, right, so I brought up the Jewish family, shout out to Zaidi and them. I brought them up because I'm like, yo, they was paying me $800 a week. They didn't want their father in a nursing home. They wanted him in the crib. They wanted him taken care of before he left here.
In his own home.
He was in their home. Okay. Nice little home up on Bryn Mawr on the other side, right? And they like kings and queens in their community because they in the Jewish community over there. My grandma passed, same thing. Took care of my grandma. I felt complete, giving my grandma food, building more of a relationship with her. And my grandma, I got a video of my grandma praying, me and my grandma praying, because I used to cry all the time with her. And my grandma had all this guilt before she died. You know what I mean? She the reason why the family don't really talk to each other like that. So my dad carried so much resentment his whole life because, shout out to my grandfather, Charlie Haynes, right? Who's not my dad's father. So my grandfather growing up was not my dad's father, actual biological, but he married my grandma years later when my dad was older. But from my understanding, my family felt like my grandmother chose my grandfather over family at one point.
Really?
And my father felt like she chose my grandfather over him, and that messed him up. I didn't know this growing up. I didn't see it until my grandmother got sick, and I'm like, Pop, why you not around like that? And when you coming around like with bare minimum, and I'm not feeling that. This your mom. We only got one mom. Right. And I'm like, I'm around for a reason, and I'm grateful to be around, and I'm grateful that my kids get to experience my grandmother on a different level before she leaves here. And then I didn't know that my dad carried so much resentment, because when my grandmother, and then listen, honestly, this is a true story. This is no shame. This is just all truth. Right. I didn't know how my grandfather treated my grandmother until she got sick, and I overheard how he spoke to her. I didn't know he had kids on my grandmom growing up. I didn't know that he mistreated her growing up. I didn't know these things. He always was grandfather to me, Papa. He always was my grandpa. Right. So one day my grandma's sick, and I'm upstairs on the 3rd floor. Shouts to the 3rd floor. This podcast has been brought to you by the 3rd floor. Those that know, right? But no, listen. So I'm upstairs one day, and my grandma's sick. She's like oxygen tube, sitting there watching Gunsmoke, black and white shit all day and just chilling. And my grandma said, Charlie, can you go get me a hoagie? And he like, man, I'm not getting you no fucking hoagie for you to take 2 bites and put it in the refrigerator. That's a waste of money. I'm not walking on the Ave and doing that.
You came flying down them stairs.
No. And then he said, what you need to do is stop acting like you sick. Get up, go to the kitchen, cook something. Now, in his little way, it might have been a reverse psychology of like, I need you to try to get up, but it came off very disrespectful.
Yeah, sound like it.
And I ran down the steps after that.
Then you went flying down the steps.
And now my pop-up is known for like picking up this bat, and I'm like, and he went to go pick this bat up. When I grabbed the bat and I grabbed my grandfather, and I was just like, man, listen, I better not ever hear you talk to my grandma like that again, bro. And I understood at that moment, you know how the lethal shooter said, I understand that, right?
Yeah,
I understand it. I understood it right there. Like, this is why you know that. And then honestly, I never disrespected him because my grandma loved him to death. And my grandma told me, if something happened to me, take care of Charlie. I was like, I'll try.
I ain't gonna make no promises now.
I'll try. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so taking care of my grandma was a whole different experience. So being able to take care of my mom right now is a blessing. Being in there, I feel like I'm overqualified from the development, the hurt, everything we've been through. I've already had plenty of conversations with my mom in the past before she got sick. My mom got sick. She had a daycare. Once she stopped really moving around, she sat in bed and really didn't do nothing.
That's what happens.
She wasn't eating, wasn't taking medication, and just became like bedridden. And it was like, Mom, now you can't. Now when you try to move, you fall. And I'm hearing about you falling. I'm hearing about this. Now you're getting a lift coming down, and it's like,
Yeah.
And now you're secluding yourself from the world, which is not healthy. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people sit in the dark and they think life going to change for them.
You know how, like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you know how, like, when basketball players like retire and they like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. Was it like that? Like, it was like she's so used to doing this one thing that once she stopped doing
That's
that one
everybody.
thing,
Look at
that's true.
two examples. Two examples. My mom that had a daycare. My mom sold drugs my whole life. A boss. Know how to move. Know how to handle everything. Like if I show you videos of her in her prime, it's devastating looking at her right now, but this is life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once the daycare stopped, her dog passed. It's her and my dad. She really has no reason to move like that, but the grandkids,
Yeah.
that slowed her down a little bit. She sat there, didn't move, no activity. So now, if you don't move it, you lose it.
Right.
And now if you have nothing to reach for, it's no reason to get up. And if you don't have a purpose every day, if you're not in that, it doesn't feel meaningful every day. So it might be cool to just sit back and just get whatever life gives you, right?
Yeah.
Second person is my biological mother. It's been times where I watch my mom clean herself, my biological mom, Angel, clean herself up, get on the good foot, get a brand new Benz, brand new job, 2-3 jobs, take care of the kids, take the kids away. I done been on vacation with my biological mom when we was all smooth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Pandemic, yo, let's grab a suite. It don't matter how much it is, let's all just go there. Let's just celebrate us being now and not worry about then. Mom always find reasons to jump ship or double back and whatever she does out here from the family. You know she got back, you know she done. And I'm like, damn. And she don't want to be around me when she's like that. She don't call me and let me see that side of her. And she knows why. I know why. So
what do you mean double back? So
like she might relapse. She'll relapse, get back on drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Relapse, get back on drugs, and just get back in the habits of old things, old patterns, right? That's still who she is, but it's like, okay. But my youngest brother graduated, is going to the Army. He used to live with her. He no longer live with her. He hasn't lived with her for years. And I felt like when he left, it was no real reason for her to be responsible for nobody no more but herself. So it was like, if I just got to be responsible for myself, F it.
I'm taking a break.
Right. And it's like, because sometimes life is like, and I think about this all the time, bro. Like, you can have a breakdown right now and tuck your tail and just say fuck. It's so easy to say fuck it. It's so easy to give up.
It's too easy.
It's so easy to give up, bro. I see people that I know. I'll be 44 in November. I see people that I know I went to school with. And I might be running with a group of 60, 80 people. And they might see me stop and hug this person. They be like, yo, you know this? This person's dingy, dirty, like smells like. I'm like, you have no idea. You don't even know that this nigga was MG, mathematician, knew everything.
Yeah.
Clean as a whistle. He got his own story. The same way I used to look at my mom when it was like this lady back in the day, she had this white cream on her face and she used to have toothpicks in her hair. Her name was Frances. She was from uptown. She would, like, if you ever was riding uptown, if you seen this little lady, she had all this gray on hoodie, scully. It could be dead hot in a bike. And you'd be so frightened of her. And I remember as kids, you know, kids do dumb shit. I remember them throwing rocks at her, doing stuff. She never retaliated, never did nothing. I remember one day I was with my mom. My mom pulled over, said, oh my God, Francis. I never heard her talk a day in my life. She said, Val. I said, oh shit. Her voice was so deep. 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 She hugged my mom. She held on to my mom. I could cry. She held on to my mom. My mom held on to her so much. And my mom told me when she got in the car, she was like, Francis lost her whole family in a fire.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Francis ain't been the same ever since.
I bet. Oh my gosh.
So it'd be like, you never know what a person's been through, what a person's going through, what a person's growing through. So those things allow me to respect everybody's disposition. So from the Jewish man's-anxiety to my grandmother to take care of my mother right now, you know, even watching my mom inside of rehab. You know, I did a post about this because I was so present when we talk about fitness and we talk about on a journey of bettering yourself. Oh, I appreciate it. I'm sorry. No. But when we talk about fitness and the journey of bettering yourself, I look at my mom, and my mom was like, told y'all, I'm like, I'm so, no, it's all good. No, it's all good. But I cry all the time. My kids will tell you. But I think my
Life
super
make you like
my
that.
but no, my superpower is like my sensitivity, my emotions, because I'm very vulnerable when it comes to things. I'm present, but my what was I saying?
What made you cry? The part hugging your mom, her losing her family, or thinking about your mom and her prom? What made you cry?
No, I think for me it was like we was talking about fuck it. It's so easy to say fuck it.
Yeah.
And I could easily said fuck it years ago, Ish. Ask Angelo. You know, people that meet me now can't even fathom how I was 15, whatever years ago. Grateful to God. Thank you, God. You know what I mean? So I say that to say because I could, when I said I was hugging my folks, I know where he come from. I didn't know where Francis was coming from back then. So it's just like, I respect it. I respect my journey. And I respect that how far I came. And it's so easy to just say fuck it and tuck your tail when life is life and things start happening. That's where personal development comes in. That's where being aware of these things. Like so many things happen in the chain of my life, even still, like even with, imagine that have been my breaking point when my father said that to me.
Yeah.
Imagine me saying, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Imagine, like, come on. Yeah. Me and my mom just was cracking up the other day in that hospital by ourselves. I be loving it. I be taping it, but I always been documenting my journey, but my mom is in there having me crack the fuck up. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like being able to create these memories is dope, right? But I was about to say something. I forget what I was about to say.
Well,
it's cool.
You'll get there, yeah. Grab a topic.
Cool. Yeah, it's
You're doing
cool.
good. Yeah.
Get you a swig of water.
Yeah.
Get you some water.
Yeah. They're enjoying this. You got the topics ready and stuff?
Yeah, I do, but I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with that. But when you talked about relapsing and you talked about basically, and I think in personal development, right, if people don't stay on top of it, it's not a one-day thing. It's not an overnight thing. It's an endless thing of working on yourself.
I have a question. What made you become different? Because you always say people can't fathom who you are today. What was your turning point? I know you said it was a jail.
Jail? It wasn't just jail. It was me. I had to get tired. I got to a place where I was fed up. I got to a place where I was fed up of looking at the person that I was. Like, yo, you not really him. You wavy to all these niggas and bitches over here, but to these people that matter, you not shit. The people that really know you, you not shit. So who are you sleeping with at night? Yourself? You really love yourself? You love the decisions that you making? You really cool with that, bro? You cool with frauding? You cool with taking the pic and looking like something and not actually feeling like something?
Yeah.
I got tired. My man died. When my man died, right? Shout out to Jim. When Jim got killed, it's like, I don't want to leave here and people think I'm doing more than what I am. Because I'll make shit look good easily, just with a pinky.
Yeah.
I make shit look easy and it's not. So a nigga do something to you over something they might think you got. A nigga might do something to you over something they might think that you doing because it look like you got more emotion than you do because how I carry it. No, They ain't taking me out of here away from my babies. Oh, I'm in here rapping, I'm talking, I can talk heavy shit on the track. And I gotta place myself around these environments so I can be accepted and liked and validated. My homie just got pickled. And I don't even want to touch on the subject. But it's so easy making a decision. It's so easy to make an impulsive decision that will change the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I have a question. Gilly said that he don't like pitting on people in Philly because he don't want people to take his spot because people that's younger than him and that's better than him at what he do, and that's why he don't bring certain people on his podcast or highlight certain people. I feel like you're the total opposite of Gilly. I feel like you like to help others and bring their strengths out.
I like to bring people. Yeah, I like to bring people light out. And shouts to Gil because I've been around Gil plenty of times, Batcave Studios, plenty of times just growing up in that era. Even watching Gil go on my cousin Prime back in the day when Figures was in their prime, right? Shout out to my cousin Iola, right? That was a whole different ball game. You talk about primes. I seen that back in the day when Figures was out. My cousin took Gil on the prime. They had baby blue, powder blue dress, suit, powder blue Benz. She come out to hate me now. I'm like, they painted that picture years ago of what primes look like. So early in the game. But I think for me, that's one thing that I like to do is just highlight folks and bring people's, let people know that they the machine. Let people know that, that they got the light inside of them. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, people don't know what they don't know, and they be stuck in stinking thinking they don't know how talented and gifted they are. So sometimes it just needs like a different view of things. Like, like if you sit around somebody for a minute, you be like, damn, bro, you actually thorough. Yeah. I can add value, and that's one thing. That's what it is. I love adding value. I love adding value, rather, because I'll clean up in here with y'all. I'll move stuff around. I know you be like, no, you're the talent.
You didn't do it. I'm joking.
No, I didn't, because I was told I was the talent last time. I was told I was the talent. When I was on the set of Ready to Love, that's all they had to tell me was I was the talent. I'm the talent? Oh, say less. What we eating? Budokan? Budokan for the talent. Bring talent, Budokan. You know what I mean? Yeah, no.
You're not supposed to touch nothing. No, you good.
No, I get it, because it was like I would be on set and they'd be like, hey, talent is walking up. I'm like, talent? Who the fuck y'all talking about? You know what I mean? That's talking about me? Oh, Naeem, you gotta go. You're not supposed to be on set. It was talking about me. I'm talent. Ew. And then when they started getting checks, I'm like, oh yeah, we pay actors and actresses now, y'all. We getting checks. That's what's up. But yeah, but nah. Let me see something.
You in a moment, or you good?
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Wait. So somebody was so with all the trash that was coming,
yes,
right?
We were talking about
all the trash, right? All this trash situation going on,
Can you
right?
explain to them what's going on before you. People who don't know, they might just see you on YouTube.
All right. So basically, in the city of Philadelphia right now, the union is on strike. DC 33.
DC 33.
Shouts to DC 33, right? It's a lot of folks that I know that's inside of that, right? But it's affecting a lot of people, and it depends on where you're at and what your perspective is on how it's affecting folks. For instance, it's people that work for the city that's looking for a pay increase, and I totally understand that. They work their behinds off, and they want to be compensated. Also, it's people right now that's in the city that's, the mayor, she's, saying that she's, trying to give them bread or whatever, but they're not budging right now, so they're saying like they overly paid them, but they feel like the city is overly paying themselves right now with different wages, whereas though the mayor's getting an increase and all her staff's getting an increase, and it's not fair. So people actually see that, and they're like rallying against that. But then also, folks are like dumping their trash everywhere because the sanitation department is not working right now, and there's nobody picking up trash. And if you know Trash Day in Philly is brutal. One, if you live in the hood, if you in the hood, one, you got to catch these folks. Two, you got to hope that they get all your trash, right? It's
too heavy.
Bro, it is DJ Kid debris in every alley, every driveway because of how the trash men don't fully get the trash the way they need to. And I'll also say that a lot of our folks don't know how to pack trash.
We don't.
I hate that shit. I'm like such a neat freak, and I'll be like, man, you have no idea how many times I clean up my little section of the driveway because trash just. But anyway, and that's that. And they're putting trash everywhere. Off the boulevard, it's like, it looks like. It just looks a total mess. But another thing is the water department. So the water department is they're on strike as well because they're in that union, and they're doing stuff like turning on hydrants and letting the water run out just so the city can see how much of a demand they are. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying like,
who's doing this? The workers?
The water.
Whoever's in DC 33 in that department that got those, whoever got those island wrenches that control them, they doing it. I'm not saying names of departments. Whoever got that, right? Because I'm seeing on the gram, folks like, yo, we ain't got no water. We doing da-da-da-da-da. And I remember the day of the strike, you just riding down like, why is everybody water on? Why is the water streaming down every block? And I'm like, but I get it. They got their own way of going about it. So anyway, with the trash everywhere, here comes rodents, here comes rats, here comes possums and raccoons and all of this stuff. But
return to New York. We're gonna be New York soon.
I don't think we ever get that dirty.
Yeah, New York is different.
Dirty.
I want to give you some facts real quick. I want you guys to understand that these workers only asking for an additional $60 per week per paycheck. And then the police has a budget of $850 million. They just received $1 million stipend for new uniforms for police. Just saying that they're not asking for a lot, guys, and it take care of our city, and we see how much we need them. It's been 2 days now? It's been long.
It's been long enough when you see everybody trash outside. And I asked him, was he affected by it? And you're not affected by it because you're not, right? But at the end of the day, you're seeing a lot of people affected by it. But a squirrel ran into my folks' crib, and they was scared, and that reminded me of when a squirrel came into my house, right? And it was a funny story because it's like No, I'm not a squirrel. A raccoon went inside of somebody's house, and I was like, yo, that's scary. And she was like, yo, I had to call pest control and other people, and they like, because of the strike, a lot of people not working right now, so they couldn't get the raccoon out. And I was like, damn, that's sorry. She had to call. she had to call like another service, right? And they had to come and get it out. And I was like, damn. I remember I had a squirrel in my crib, and it probably was the funniest things, but craziest moments in my life. Right? It was a squirrel. I remember walking out on my porch, and I seen something just walk inside. And I'm like, I know, I ain't see nothing. So, right? Right. You know how you go outside the door and your door take a minute to close, and I just seen like I always catch something, and I was like, I know I ain't see like a tail like girth through the fucking threshold, right? I seen like a little Chippendale, right? I was like, nah, I ain't see nothing. So I walked in the crib, and then I went to the kitchen, and I remember coming around the kitchen, and I seen something go up the steps. I'm like, I know I ain't see something go up the steps, and then lo and behold, I go to the top of my steps, and I just see this motherfucker running back and forth and room to room, trying to find an exit. Now, I didn't know that squirrels and raccoons were like of the same species, and they're super mean. Yeah, they're like super like aggressive. I didn't know that back then, but this squirrel was special. I called my oldest kids, Wop and Champ. And they was like, Dad, you scared of a squirrel? I said, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Can y'all come here right now? So they mom dropped them off. This is when they was a little younger, too. They was a little younger. They mom dropped them off, and Namia, she strolled up the steps, and she like, Dad, I know you're not scared of a squirrel. As soon as she seen the squirrel, she ran right out.
Yeah.
So now it's me and my son. It's just me and Champ. I said, Champ, listen, we got to get this nigga out, right?
We got to get this nigga out.
So, no, for sure. So I put a barricade at the bottom of the steps. I had like little spiral joints that go around. I put the couch and pillows around so he couldn't come down. And I'm like, Champ, we got to go up there. And I was like, I heard something in the screen. You know, like the windows. Yeah. I heard something scratching. You know that sound? Yeah. I was like, he's in the screen somewhere. He's touching the window. And I went and peeped, and I looked, and he's inside the window.
In between?
In the window, like it's down, but he's in there like trying to get out, but he's in between the screen and the window. And I said, oh, my God. I got to hurry up and run and shut that window. Because if I shut him in the window, he's going to be in there, and he's going to be in the screen. And I could bring the other window down, raise the screen up. He could just go out, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Perfect. Took like 20 seconds, maybe 2 minutes of courage to build up.
2 minutes and 20 seconds. It's completely different things. 2 minutes.
Rock with me. Rock with me, right? So I run. I bypass my son's beds. I get to the window, and it's like this nigga looking at me. And I slam the window hard as hell. Boom. As I slam it, he's coming down. As I slam it, he's coming down. He's trying to make his way out the window. I slam the motherfucker in the window. Oh, nah. He's got two arms out like this, and his bottom legs and his tail is on the other side. And he's squashed, and he's making noises and gnarling, making sounds he's like, fuck you, right? He's gnarling at me. He's like, ah! I've never seen a squirrel this mad and this aggressive. Ish, listen, get off your ears.
Just turned them up.
Bro. So listen, I'm sitting there looking at him like, bro, just chill. He's like, he's moving everything. His other half is in the window. It's a good window. It's a new pup. Boom. He's on there. All the insulation is... So I'm like, bro, listen, I need you to chill. He's not chilling. He's moving. He's gnarly. He's looking like
window is on him.
Windows
you
on
him to chill.
I'm squeezing it on him more. I'm pushing it on him more, like interrogation. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to tell you to chill. I just need you to chill. As I'm squeezing it, he's like, so I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, Champ, go get one of them bins downstairs. You know the pink and blue bins you get from Walmart back in the day. The joints you move the tubs, right? They look like toy chests. Yeah. I told him to go get one of them. We empty it. I'm like, all right, so this was going to happen. We're going to have to corral him, put this around him. We can't leave no rooms on the side for him to get out. We're going to have to put this around him. When we open the window, we had a bunk bed. It was Burger and Champ bunk bed. I said, you get up top. I'm going to hold this joint right here. When I get up top, hold it, count to 3. You left the window up. He going to decide what he going to do. Either he going to go in this little bin, and he going to go out. That's the only direction he got. Yeah. I'm on there. Champ open the joint, 1, 2, 3. This nigga just fall out. He ain't fight. He ain't do nothing. He just went backwards.
Oh, he fell out the window.
Backwards. He went backwards. He just fell out backwards. Bro, he fell on the ground. He shook it off. He looked back up, and I swear he said something to me. Right? No lie. I go to my front porch. It's 4 of these motherfuckers on my porch.
Oh, yeah,
they looking like this. They like, no, they like this. Yo, where Ralph? I just thought that was funny because I was like, yo, I'm like, people don't really know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy experience to have something like that. But anyway, I just thought that was funny.
You are crazy.
And another thing, let's just get into crash outs.
Okay. Crash outs, okay.
Let's talk about crash outs. So, you gotta be careful who you dating nowadays.
Absolutely.
Gotta be careful who you dating. Because one, people don't be honest with who they're dating, and people aren't honest with their emotions, with themselves. You gotta be careful.
Yeah.
So, let's just say I know somebody, right, that was dating somebody, right?
Okay.
All right, let's just get into the story.
Let's give him some nicknames.
So
don't get it mixed up.
We're gonna call her. Nah, we ain't gonna do that. We just
Sure.
gonna,
Are you going straight?
No. We ain't gonna say real names. We just gonna say, all right. So listen, I know a girl, right? And I'm thinking because I know I'm only correlating the story because I know somebody who recently made a decision and now is behind bars, right? And it's a lot, you know what I mean? It's a lot of that, right? And he's been in jail now for about 2 years, right? He's been in jail for about 2 years now. And I talk to him all the time and he regrets that decision, you know, right? So anyway, he was dealing with somebody that had somebody and he didn't know it and end up defending himself in that situation. So you never know. So anyway, I know a girl that I was dating one time and I was in a clear space of dating, healthy space of dating, meeting new girls. Me and my ex had broke up. I had seen my ex at a Sixers game with another dude. We was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We was good.
Yeah.
I was with somebody new. You know what I mean? I look better than who she was with, so it was all good, right? We vibing.
That matters.
That matters.
That's the real.
Because I'm like, I'm with her. I'm like, and then I see who she with, and I'm like, yeah. It's all good. I'm like,
a nice little form
I
of
ain't drawing her or nothing.
comfortability.
It wasn't- I was chill. I was like, yeah. But anyway, so it was one girl I met, you know, and we ended up hitting it off pretty fast. And after a few weeks, I was like, yo, you got a nigga. She's like, why you say that? I'm like, because you give me, I got nigga vibes.
I got nigga vibes.
You call me and you reach me and you know, you're available at a certain hour. Right? You're available at a certain hour, right? So I'm like, you got, she's like, yeah, I got somebody, but it ain't what you think. He live with me. He don't really do, we ain't did nothing in a minute, this, that, and the third. He don't take care of nothing. He don't do, okay, trouble on the home front. Bet. I ain't gonna ask no questions. Ain't no man gonna ask no questions. Trouble on the home front. You just got a man. That's cool. Let's say you shaking your head. Trouble on the home front. He not hitting. She's not satisfied. She's taking care of everything. She's dissatisfied. She got an itch. She needed a scratch.
And you gonna scratch it.
Captain Scratch him.
Name of the episode, Captain Scratch.
So listen. So anyway, so listen. So I ain't think nothing of it. So I'm on a date one day. I'm with somebody else. And we out and we at like the candlelight joint where they do the orchestra. You ever been to that?
Yeah.
I go there. Yeah, them joints fly. This joint they played like all rap, so they playing Kendrick with the violin.
That's tough.
They playing all. It was nice, the vibe. I'm in there, so I'm like, we going, we out, and it's crowded. And I'm like, you know, she got on hills. Who I'm with, she got on hills. I'm gonna drop you off at the front. I'm gonna go double back and park. As I'm pulling up to the venue, I see the other shorty that was telling me about
the home front.
Home front.
Yeah.
I'm seeing home front.
See home front.
Right.
She on the wrong side of the street. You know, when you walking with somebody, a man,
Oh yeah.
she on the wrong side of the
man.
street. Yeah, so I peeped that from the rip.
Yeah.
She with a nigga. The nigga like, yo, nah.
Oh no. He recognized you before she did. That's so crazy.
He allowed.
I'm like, yo, cuz, yeah. And then I'm with who I'm with. She get dropped off. The other one, home front, she like,
Yeah.
Big gulp. Big gulp.
so I let her out. I go park. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a fun night. This is gonna be exciting,
This is
right?
going to be a good one.
It's gonna be exciting, right? Candlelight.
I'm clear on everything.
I'm good. I'm Gucci because I'm in a healthy space. I'm being honest. I'm not telling them I don't got nobody else.
Yeah.
I'm not like, yo, you my only one. I'm not misleading. I'm like, see you Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right? So
But y'all had the same taste, which is weird to me, and them at the same place. That's
I mean, but the crazy part was she had explained to me they hadn't been on a date in a minute before that, and she had egged that on. So I was like, all right, cool. Me, I know how to date. I'm like, I got you, right? Me and her, we having a ball. So we down in our rules. We taking pics. We doing our thing. I don't know where they sitting at. I'm walking to the back to the bar. I'm grabbing drinks. I just want to be seen. We leave there that night. She hit me the next day, distraught. Oh, my God. I'm like, yo. She like, I didn't know you knew. You didn't know I knew him? You didn't see that we follow it? You follow it? You didn't see that?
Come on.
I didn't pay that no mind. You didn't know that?
Right.
No, I didn't. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like, yo, listen. I'm like, I said, listen, honestly, keep it 100 with you. I would have never fucked with you had I known that was your dude.
what does that mean?
Because it's not, it's I'm gonna tell you what that means, and this is for the world. This is ready? Pussy not that deep. For me to go behind somebody's back that I know and deal with somebody that they know. That's not even my man like that. Like, this is not my everyday. He's not my man. He's not exempt from that, but it's not that deep for somebody that I once shared memories with to think something like that. So anyway, I told her that, and she really honestly didn't know. She's one of them, like, I didn't know. Yeah. She's like, you know how girls like, you know. No, she's really deep in her business, deep in her world, I know that. Yeah. So she ended up breaking up with him, like abruptly in like 2 days. I'm done with you. We done. I can't do this no more. He's like, what the fuck where this come from? Yeah. Mind you, she been this, when a girl break up with you, they'll break up with you mentally and emotionally months before they actually break up with you. Like, she been checked out. Yeah. Like, girls is vicious for that, right?
Absolutely.
What was that laugh, Ish? Can we hear?
I'm just saying.
It's so true.
Men have all these facts about what women do, and you're not women.
No, Ish. So, no. I'm not saying I claim to know. I'm just saying that part. A woman will emotionally check out with a man before she physically go out and do something. Now, some women might go out and physically just say, I mean, here you go. Yeah. But a lot of times when they deeply invested at the home front.
It's a high percentage.
Right, high percentage, right? So anyway, that's why I wiggle fingers. All right, so anyway, gotcha. She breaks up with him. He hits her with goes through her phone. Like, he like, something going on. Go through her phone. He see me. It looked like, so wait, I just seen him the other night. He was with somebody else. You been knew this nigga, you dealing with, you making. Yeah. He's fucked up in the head. He don't know what to do.
Yeah. It don't look any better that he was like the first person to go, yo, bro, it's da-da-da. Now it looks crazy.
He's questioning me. No, he's questioning her, asking her questions. Well, where did it? And she's like, so next thing you know, he comes across my phone.
Oh, no.
Yo, bro, I just want to let you know that I know. I don't hate the player. I don't hate the game or the player. Something like that. I'm like, cool shit. So I'm just like talking to her like, you better let him know that.
Yeah, right.
This ain't that and that ain't this, right?
Control it.
She like, nah. I'm like, bro, you one, you lied to me. Yeah. 2, you lied to him. 3, now he's on my line. Yeah. It could go past you. And you don't understand that. I'm a street nigga. I know how hectic it could get. So I was just like, all right, cool, left it at that. So then he back on my line couple days later. Yo, man, how did this happen? I'm like, bro, I'm not going to tell you how it happened. I'm just going to say this. You know where y'all at. Yeah. And honestly, I'm going to tell you straight up as a man, had I known, I wouldn't have did that. All right, man, well, listen. I'm trying to get my family back.
That's always the line. Sorry.
I'm trying to get my family back. Do you mind falling back?
I'm out of there.
Hey, bro. One man to another. You got it. I understand what you're working on. I've been there, done that. Not in this capacity, but I've been there, done that, wanting to work on things. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall back. But if she spin, I ain't got nothing to do with that. He said,
bro, yes, you do.
No. I said, if she spin, I don't got nothing to do with that. If she spin, if I leave her alone, I say, yo, I'm done with you. I can't deal with you no more. I want you to, and she's spinning on me. That got nothing to do with me.
You promised him.
You promised him, man.
No. I said to him as a man. I'm saying to him as a man, I'm gonna fall back. If she spin, they ain't got nothing to do with me. He said, bro, if she spin, I'm gonna fall back.
Oh no, man.
It was actually called a double spin. She already spent, bro. Like
She called me the very next day. You told him you was gonna block me. I don't want you to block me. I don't want to deal with him. I'm like, listen, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's too much.
You gotta figure this shit the fuck out.
That's too much.
You know what I mean? Yes. And I'm saying all that to say because I'm like, you could be dealing with somebody that's overly emotional, overly this, that, and then this is a crazy part. So it was died down. Months later, my old head called me. I go meet up with my old head. Old head cool. I don't even want to say his name. Just my old head.
Yeah.
He like, nah, you fucking with a married woman.
Jesus.
What the hell is happening?
What's happening?
That's how he get word.
Right.
I said, fuck no. He said, nah, you fucking with a man. I said, fuck no. I said, he said, man, because I was in the barbershop and my barber said, you know him? Because main man was in the barbershop the other day telling me about him and said that you know him. And my old head antennas up now. Like, so yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he said, I'm like, so I told my old head what happened. I said, oh yeah, this is what happened. This, that, and the third. I'm like, it wasn't no man. I ain't even know XYZ. I said, I found out knowing XYZ, this, that, third. She spun, this is where it's at. And I'm like, I'm distant. He like, yeah, because I told young boy, man, he better off being a other than other than fucking with you. I said, yeah, you better. That was a hard statement.
That's insane. That's what.
Let's stop it right here, and let's let people know we're gonna see you again next week.
Okay.
Yes, that was good. That was good.
All right. So listen, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast, The Real Wave Podcast. Shout out to my man Jim. Listen, I got tons of stories. It's gonna be a personal development thing. We're gonna have guests on here, but at the end of the day, I can't help peeling back these layers. I can't help telling these stories. I can't help my life. But this is what we here for, the entertainment and everything, and to get something from it. But I hope y'all got something from this, man. I see y'all next week. We're gonna keep things rolling. I love y'all. See y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.